Hi folks, so now we have this 1970 Triumph Spitfire up on the hoist. So now I'd like to share with you how clean it looks underneath. And we'll just basically start at the back. As we mentioned in the walk around previously, it's just a little bit of a different or custom kind of exhaust. It may not be for everyone. The nice thing is we can change it. So whoever was to buy the Spitfire, if they didn't like these two, more of an aftermarket looking tailpipe system, then we could change it back to a stock, because they didn't really hurt it, because from the front where it comes down the center, they've just added a joint here. There's a junction and they've split it into two. The original Spitfire exhaust would exit out on this side and we'd have a muffler here and then a tailpipe. But it sounds good, it's kind of neat. And what we'll do is we'll end up, we'll just clean this up a little bit and we'll paint it with the high heat black. But what I'm really impressed with this Spitfire, and the camera I'm sure can pick it up, is you can see that when this vehicle was restored a few years ago, the body was completely lifted off of the frame, and the frame was redone and the body was done separately. So you can see how nice it looks underneath. It's all been painted the nice red color to match the outside. Now this is a base clear paint, so they've applied the base to the bottom and they didn't put the clear coat on, which is very normal. That's the same practice they would use if it was a factory paint kind of finish. And then you can see on the bottom here where we've got the floors, they're in really nice shape. Where the suspension points meet or fasten to both this driver's side and passenger side, you can see structurally how sound everything is. The body's really nice. Our floor pans look really nice. And then we look at our frame supports where they come out on each side. You can see how clean our frame support is with the black and the new hardware. And then we come over here, so you can see how nice, because these frames were notorious for being weak and would rust and flex a lot and a lot of repairs. So you generally don't see this clean of an undercarriage, especially in the Spitfires, because a lot of guys like to use like a rocker guard and patch on top of the rusted metal and hide a lot of corrosion, where you can see how clean it is. And then as we get closer, you can see there's a little bit of residue here. We changed the radiator and the thermostat and stuff, so we've got a little bit of residue here. You can see there's a couple little droplets. We haven't cleaned it all yet, so this all needs to be cleaned properly. So we've got a little bit of dripping from up above when we changed all the fluids, but we haven't shampooed underneath yet. And you can see at our transmission we have our new clutch slave cylinder, and then we've added a braided line as a bleeder line goes up to the firewall. So if you have to bleed the clutch mechanism, we can. And then you can see the starter here. The oil pan's nice, just needs to be cleaned off. The gasket's fairly new. And as we come to the front, you can see how nice this frame is. The frame is, I would say, substantial condition. 1970, and it's really, really clean. And then our rad support, everything is nice with the rad. You can see there's even a transmission oil cooler, where not very many people would add that, but we've got the transmission cooler. And as we come on the side, you can see how nice the frame is. There's no question of any rust or corrosion anywhere on the frame. And then if we turn around and face the back of the bumper, you can see, because that's a main structural support area where the frame meets that reinforcement bar for the bumper. And you can see there's no issues or any concerns at all with any type of corrosion once again. So it's really solid. It's nice to see, because normally the wheel wells and the tub and all this area is always sprayed with some type of rubberized undercoating or an asphalt based undercoating, and it always looks pretty sloppy. But it's quite a treat to see a 1970 Spitfire that's this clean and this well cared for. You can see the original stampings in the floor pans and all the original ribbing. And then we'll be checking the hardware, because it looks like they've changed some brackets, and we want to make sure we have the proper hardware for seat belts and for the base of the seats. So we'll be tidying that up, but you can see how quite nice it is. And then if we come over to this driver's side, we took the liberty of just taking off the one tire. So the, pardon me, once again, the wheel well inside, nice and clean. You can see we don't have any corrosion. And this is a driver quality car, so you can drive it, still take it to shows, but you don't see any rust or any body filler or any undercoating kind of stuff hiding anything. And then in the wheel well area, I think the camera can pick it up. The wheel well arches, you can see the factory spot welds, and there's numerous spot welds that come all around, and it's just like it left the factory. And this was a green car originally. The green was stripped off and then it was changed to a red. Excuse me. And then we've got upgraded shock system, and then we've upgraded pardon me, we've upgraded the rotors. We now have the TRW, and they're an upgraded rotor where they're slotted and drilled. And we have new calipers, we have new flex lines, and then the hub and bearing, everything's been repacked and done properly. So it's just a subtle little upgrade, but these were normally a solid rotor, but it's been upgraded to a slotted and drilled rotor. So just better cooling, a little bit better stability. So basically, just wanted to share with you, the underside of this 70 Spitfire looks just as clean, not quite as shiny, mind you, but very, very clean underneath, just as clean as the outside. So I just wanted to share that with you. So this is the 70 Triumph Spitfire, and I'm John from lastchanceautorestore.com.